I was muted like a fucking idiot. What is going on, dudes? We're getting this tweeted out really quick. Hans might be joining me tonight. I'm just hanging out. Wanted to go live for a little bit, even if it's just a little smoking lounge session. Figured we could talk about the new Matrix trailer and whatnot. Get into the madness hanging out. Yeah, PlayStation Showcase was today. That was fucking wacky. Lores said he might join us as well. Yeah. Oh, he's shooting something in his apartment right now. His neighbors. Killing his neighbors. I like to think he's shooting hardcore pornography to fund the rest of Mass State Lottery. Oh God. There's a Trover Saves the Universe comic book now. Everything is just a fucking endless IP pool. What is up, Ash and Jackal? Good to see you. Don't know if any of you dudes watched the PlayStation Showcase today, but it was pretty whack. A whole lot of nothing. And God of War. None of what I was expecting. God of War is pretty cool, but I'm kind of burnt out on that shit. It looks like the same thing as the last one. Yeah, neighbors gotta go. Can't wait to see Neo order a vanilla latte in the Matrix. Yeah, that's the weirdest thing for me was that movie, like looks wise and everything, VFX. I think it's bad that VFX have come such a long way now, and there's guys like Corridor out there that that like it doesn't take a giant team to make something look really good now. It just takes like a lot of focus and effort. And they're in this weird place, like even if the movie's good, they're in this weird place where the movie set such a benchmark for like sci-fi and action movies at the time that everything after it sort of ripped off the Matrix in a little way. And so they need to like essentially reinvent the wheel completely with everything they did this time around in order to like make sense of all of it. It just seems really confusing. I'm wondering if it's going to be as good as the older ones. I know a lot of people feel that only the first one was solid and everything, but I liked the trilogy as a whole. I don't think there needed to be a fourth movie. And this one, the trailer today, if anything, just makes me think they're not confident at all in what they're doing. Because they got, Keanu Reeves looking full John Wick mode. Weren't even willing to get him to cut his hair or anything in production in between John Wick movies, which means that, the John Wick look took priority. Lawrence Fishburne not being there is weird. Yeah, and his character got killed off canonically in the old shitty game. And I know a bunch of people were talking about that today. I'm wondering if that's going to be addressed in the movie. There's a lot of weird shit. Yeah, the trailer, that's the whole thing. The trailer showed the whole like weird lighthearted side sprinkled in with a bunch of like monster fighting and stuff for God of War. But I don't know. I enjoyed the first one. It's just I know the first one I basically like platinumed and never went back to it. There's not much to do in those games once you're done with them, and that like half a game mentality now where it doesn't feel like you played a full story when you beat that first one. And I have the feeling that the the second one's going to be the same thing. The director sucks. No way it will be good. The Wachowski sisters only made one good movie, the original Matrix. Well, that's what I've been saying to people too, is like people seem to forget that like every other one of their movies since the original Matrix has been like middling at best. Like I like the trilogy as a whole, but the two sequels are like schlock movies in the same universe. They almost don't even feel like they're directed by the same people who did the first one. And then you look at shit like what they did, Cloud Atlas that we talked about last night. They had the Speed Racer movie is probably the only other thing I can think of from the Wachowski brothers before they transitioned. That was like a real like, oh, this is something different, and even that is like hard to watch for a lot of people because it's just an orgy of CGI. But yeah, now they're the Wachowski sisters. It's almost like like the trailer makes it seem like it's like a weird like sci-fi mystery, which is fucking strange. And like a romance story. So I don't really know what the fuck to expect with it. Yeah. And the thing that I have an issue with is it seemingly stripped away like all of the interesting facets of the universe. Like the weird, like cyberpunky sort of goth, like techno goth shit. Like you'd think that would be more extreme now, and I was like kind of looking forward to something like that. I'm like, oh, a movie that's not afraid to like kind of look corny and ridiculous again, like seeing everybody all in leather and fucking strapped up clothing, wearing fucking ridiculous sunglasses with jet black hair and everything. I was like, oh, we're gonna see something that like just directors going for it again. But yeah, Free Guy without the over-the-top humor. That's the whole thing. It's like you took out all of the craziness of it, and like Matrix Reloaded, that second one, it's probably the worst one. It's corny as shit, but all that cool like world building where they go into the Matrix and they have the weird like vampire ghost twins and all that, like even though that shit was weird and like barely explained, it was at least like visually interesting, and this new one doesn't seem to really have a lot of that. What is up, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
So I'm gonna be on camera in a minute. I was just fucking getting all heated about the stupid new fucking Matrix trailer.
Why?
You see that already?
Yeah, it looks like a Marvel movie. At least the way the trailer was cut.
Exactly. I was just saying too. They sucked out all of the like granted, it's obviously it was corny by the end of the first one, the whole like cyber goth look and everything, and they basically like made that popular. Like you can still pull up videos of people all dressed up for the sequels at movie theaters and shit, but it's like I was hoping that they would just like earnestly, wholeheartedly do that again if they're gonna do that. I was like, you don't see that in movies anymore where somebody just fully embraces the ridiculous world they've created and they're diving headfirst into it. Like shit like Fifth Element back when that came out was such a big world and it isn't really that big of a budget or anything. It was like, wow, it might actually be cool to return to this fucking ridiculous world because the sequels weren't that great, but they always had cool characters and interesting ideas. There's that big fucking Ducati fight on the highway in the second one where it was, that was a whole paid advertisement for Ducati. They supplied all the bikes for the movie and paid a bunch of money to help bolster the budget. But like those movies used to like advance technology. They came up with that whole camera technique for the like bullet time stuff that literally didn't exist before them. And that was just them like workshopping it and brainstorming on paper and figuring out how to do it. So it's like, it used to almost be like this technological benchmark. And now that is completely gone. I don't think you're gonna be seeing a lot of that anymore other than with dudes like James Cameron where they're literally creating whole new camera rigs and shit for movies. But like to then also strip out all of the originality that like makes your movie interesting. That could be any other Keanu Reeves movie, and then they just sort of throw in like superpower sort of shit.
Yeah, not even a haircut, not even a shave from John Wick.
Yeah,
it's like he left for lunch while he was shooting John Wick to shoot this in front of a green screen, and
I
that's what you get.
Guarantee that's what it is.
It seems very minimal effort, which you think after what? When was the last one out? 10 years ago-ish? Something like that, right?
I think at least 10, if not 15. What was that? Revolution was the last one?
Yeah, that's 2003. Okay, so 17 years ago.
Almost 20 fucking years ago, dude. That's insane.
You think they put a little bit of effort on it so that it just doesn't look like they're... It reminded me of the Watchmen TV show they put out, where it's like, well, this is the characters, but
I think the dude who played Dr. Manhattan resurrected in that is supposed to be like the young Morpheus character in the trailer too. I think that's the same actor. And that's immediately what I thought when I saw him. I was like, this feels like it was produced by that fucking Lindelof dude.
Yeah.
Is it Damon awful. Lindelof or David?
It's Damien, but there's another. The other guy is the biggest. What's his name?
The dude he teams up with on all of them.
Yeah, the little guy with a white beard. He stinks. I think he did like
oh yeah, he looks like he dyes his beard like gray.
Yeah,
it's like metrosexual porn guy beard. That's the thing. It doesn't look like terrible. It's another one of those like, how do we keep getting these big budget movies that don't need to exist?
Yeah,
like Ashen in chat here said it looks like that Free Guy movie with Ryan Reynolds, but you strip out all of the like over the top humor, and I'm like, at least Free Guy knows what it is and is like just trying to be a fucking summer popcorn movie. Like The Matrix literally is trying to be like the cultural touchstone it was 20 years ago, and it weirdly looks like a fan film with all of the real actors shot at like an LA Starbucks. Those strange scenes where they're like at like on like a bar top like roof party or like a rooftop bar party, like none of it was like, whoa, we're in the Matrix now.
It's Alex Kurtzman's
that's the
Matrix.
Other guy, yeah.
He stinks. He's ruined fucking Star Trek too. I've always been more of a fan of Star Trek than Star Wars because I guess I'm a huge dork. But the fact that they've just turned it into space battle, emotional show now, it's just...
They're still trying to figure out what worked for the J.J. Abrams movies. Like
it's just call it something else. That's not Star Trek, See,
that's the thing that pisses I haven't dove into it, and we have tons of guys who come in the chat and everything and swear by it. And we had one a while back where we talked about it a bunch, and everybody's like, you need to just like start from the beginning and watch from there. But
what, Discovery or just Star Trek in general?
Just Star Trek in general.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the classic one is my favorite. I think because I have such an appreciation for a show that has very little budget, and they just created sets that would look like a spaceship in the 60s, 70s, I guess. But it's more focused on the characters, and it's more focused on the performances that, even though they're not great, they immerse you into that world that they're creating.
That's my thing. Is I'll take like amateurs totally going for it any day of the week over a bunch of pros with a huge budget phoning it in. Like,
well, now it's just green screen and special effects and people yelling and people being angry and people being like, wow, and it's like, this is not what Star Trek is supposed to be. You just turned it into spaceship battle, the show.
Did they just announce a new one like today or yesterday too?
Yep.
The only thing good about, I thought, not knowing dick about it, I thought, I also like Anson Mount though, but I thought Anson Mount looks like great in the outfit. I was like, of all the dudes they've people they've cast as captains in the shows that I've seen over the years, like he has like a vibe to him where I'm like, oh yeah, I'd follow that guy into battle. I forget who it was on that last show that they did that completely bombed. Was that Discovery that
Picard? Not Picard.
Picard was a bad one too, but I heard that one was more just about him being like a gay old man and didn't really have much going on in it.
It was just a terrible idea to begin with. It's like, we understand that this is one of the most beloved captains or whatever his role was. I'm not very familiar with anything but the classic Star Trek. But
yeah, you're talking like Captain Kirk, fucking Shatner.
Yeah. Captain Kirk, Spock.
See, that's the stuff I would see random episodes as a kid, but my dad's such an idiot. Like, he could barely get through a newspaper when we were kids. And then we found out when I was like 20, 22, he had this fucking thing called an arachnoid cyst, which was basically a cyst that grows on the back of your brain that looks like a giant spider. And it just swells and swells and swells and crushes your brain in. So it was literally like medically making my dad a dumber human being his entire life. And he got this thing surgically removed, survived it all and everything. And
I might have that.
and he started, well, I might have it legitimately. It's like a hereditary thing. And he got the surgery and everything was fine, but like the next 5 years after the surgery, he started getting noticeably smarter and like retaining information better and having are you looking at it?
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of someone's scalp just
pulled open to remove it.
Yep.
Dude, they explained the whole surgery and he went through it. It's wacky and he has like a gnarly scar from it now, but he got the tumor removed and we were like, holy shit, they literally pulled the stupid out of our dad. But it was like, my dad wouldn't have understood Star Trek or any appeal of it when we were kids. So when it used to be on, I would just watch it late at night. I don't even remember the channel it was on, but there was a channel when we were kids that used to play old episodes of it. And I would watch them randomly, but it was just like a little kid being fascinated by something colorful on screen.
Right. It's not good. That's the thing, especially if you look at it with modern day eyes. The acting is not great. The action is really corny,
campy as shit.
But that's also why I love the Batman series from the 60s too. That's my favorite Batman.
It's charming as fuck. I love that stuff.
Because it's just, all of the sets are kind of crappy. They try to make it look superhero-y, but there's I don't know what the budget was like for that show. But
that was why I was so against studio flats for a while. And I DM'd you the other day that I think I'm going to make some, but I was like, I don't want that charm, but I'm also figuring out ways to make them not look like they're studio flats and get rid of seams and stuff like that. But that works if you know what you're getting into. That's why the Batman show is still beloved to this day. Fucking Star Trek. The problem with stuff like that nowadays is there's so much shit, because that's almost a whole genre on its own now of the nostalgia porn of doing something campy. I told you a while ago, I have this idea for a short that I pitched to Ian Fidance that's sort of like a love letter to all that old schlocky, campy, low budget sci-fi stuff like Plan 9 from Outer Space and all of that. And I pitched it to Fidance and he was actually into it. It's it would be really simple. I just need to build a sci-fi set in my basement. And we were actually going to have Kayla play the main character in it. Cause it's even if the acting is dog shit, that's kind of the point of this. But a lot of that stuff nowadays is it's one thing to have the performances be earnestly hokey and everything and still have the writing be good. It's another thing when the writing is shit, the budget isn't there, the performances aren't there, and it's just used as an excuse for why the production overall has no soul to it. And that's 90% of sci-fi now is trying to be quirky and throw back to when sci-fi was cool, but doesn't know how to harness it.
But also super cool and super look at our special effects and shit. The only show that I think has recently, I don't know how recent it was. This is from 2004. Okay. Garth Marenghi's Dark Place. Have you ever seen that show?
I have that on my list because that thing has been fucking recommended to me so many times. I think they just added it on Amazon Prime recently.
It's actually really great, even though it's shot to be like a parody of those old shows, and the acting is purposely not great.
Yeah, because that's where the writers who use subtext are cowards fucking meme comes from, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I had seen clips from it over the years and always just thought it was like a one-off thing, like oh shit, what's it called? Is it Brass Eye? Have you ever seen that?
Brass Eye is another.
Yeah,
yes, that's Chris. What's his name? Chris fucking.
I always thought it was like Brass Eye, where it was just like a one-off thing. I love that you guys have seen. You guys are aware of weird shit like that too, because I mentioned that on here one time, and it was just like a silent moment.
Chris Morris. He wrote Four Lions. I don't know if you've seen Four Lions.
The terrorist Indian kids. Yeah, just like it's like four Magoo terrorists.
Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. He also wrote. Let me see. When I was studying film in England, he was like one of my friends that really liked British comedy, because I was like, introduced me to British comedy because I don't really know any.
Yeah.
And I was introduced to his stuff. I was introduced to Mighty Boosh, In-Betweeners, just very weird.
It's either amazing or absolute dog shit. In-Betweeners, my girlfriend introduced me to randomly. That show is actually hilarious.
It's really funny, yeah. What's the show that I just fucking said and I completely forgot already? Fuck.
British show?
Come on.
So we were talking about Dark Place.
God damn it. Mighty Boosh. That show, it's so funny and it's so creative too. And they do that same thing of like building sets and characters that just work in that set. And it's like a weird reality that's not really reality at all. It's like its own
it's like a
world.
Surrealist show. It's they do a lot of, from what I remembered, they kind of have like Captain EO style, like some puppetry. It's a bit like almost like not the same thing as Mystery Science Theater, but a lot of that same like production vibe where not necessarily seeing the seams, but you can tell like somebody put this weird world together. And that's what I mean when I'm like, when things have soul in them. Like the new Matrix movie just looks like you could send that to any like digital production company and they can do the CGI for that, no problem. It's not like you see that movie and you're like, oh shit, these guys did this. Like the first three at least.
There's also things like IT Crowd, which they try to bring to the US with Joel McHale, and I don't remember who the other character was, which is just about these two really dorky IT guys. That show is really funny. Then there's Little Britain. I don't know if you've ever seen Little Britain. It's just a sketch show that was the most politically incorrect.
I don't think I've seen Little Britain. The IT Crowd I saw some of, because that has the dude who he eventually ended up being in that, what was it, Night Watch movie with Ben Stiller and Vince Vaughn.
Richard Ayoade or something like that.
He plays a weirdo, but he's like the best. I've said before, that Night Watch movie randomly came out when I was working at a movie theater, and it was like a big sleeper comedy. It's actually like a weirdly hilarious and super adult movie that kind of flew under the radar. But
he's actually a really good director. I don't know if you seen any of his movies. He did a movie called Submarine about this little boy that's like a weird autistic boy that falls in love with a girl type of thing, but it's weirdly funny and heartfelt. And then there's also this movie called The Double with Zuckerberg guy. What's his name? Eisenberg. Which is based, or it's like some weird story about how this,
he's got like a
double
doppelganger, right?
Exactly, yeah. That movie's weird as fuck, and I remember I enjoyed the fuck out of that.
I used to mix that up with because I think they came out around the same time. The Jake Gyllenhaal one, I think it's called Enemy. Yeah, which is almost even weirder in a completely different direction.
Great too. I really like that one too. Who did Enemy?
I don't know, because I drunkenly changed my fucking preferred search engine to to Bing, so I want to hang myself every time I go looking for something.
What? So because you want to look at porn? Is that why? Because Bing is great for porn, apparently.
I had no idea. It popped up in like a Microsoft Edge update or something, and I must have clicked it while I was drinking. I fucking hate Bing, but it's like linked to my Xbox and shit because my Microsoft account's signed in everywhere. So it's evidently they're paying me to use Bing or some shit.
Was Denis Villeneuve?
Was it really him?
Yeah, it's one of his early movies.
That's why it's so good then.
Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, after Prisoners. Have you seen Prisoners?
Dude, that's Prisoners is like one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. So he did that. He did Enemy, then he did Sicario, and then he did Arrival, and then Blade Runner, and now he's doing Dune, which it's another one that I'm kind of about. Everything that I've seen just feels like I don't know. I don't like the cast. I'm hoping that they are able to
the only first half. It's only the first half of the story too. I heard it just like ends.
I'm hoping they can do something cool with it because the story is so huge that you could do a lot of really creative things with it. But just like with every like big studio, big budget movie, I'm kind of like underwhelmed by it. Hopefully, I'll be surprised when it comes out, especially because of his track record, right? But
yeah. I think it's going to be visually like an interesting movie no matter what, but yeah, hearing that it's just the first half of the movie and knowing how Hollywood is and we might never see that second half is kind of dumb.
No, let me go back a little bit to British comedy because that shit, like I watched that.
We got all the time in the world.
There's Alan Partridge. Are you familiar with that character?
Alan Partridge.
Okay, so Alan Partridge is this radio host for Norwich, which is like a rural place in north. I think it's north of England. He's a delusional radio host that works for like a tiny radio station, but he thinks of himself as a bigger star than he is. He has a terrible come over, and he's like older than everyone. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. You have Peep Show too. I'm sure you've seen Peep Show, right?
Yeah.
So that one when they started doing like a point of view type of thing, the way it was shot, it was really interesting.
I'm thinking like a real human being for some reason. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a Steve Coogan character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That show is hilarious, and they came up with a movie too, and it's also really funny. It's like a weird like.
I remember trying to show Peep Show to my girlfriend, and like every time I'm like, oh, she showed me the In-Betweeners. She gets British comedy. I pull up something like that, and she's like, I hate you sometimes. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, well, they have a character that's a crackhead, and his name is Super Hans. And I had a friend that would call me that, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. Why Super Hans?" And he was like, "Well, there's a character in this show called Peep Show. It's a crackhead." And I was like, "Oh, that's not as cool as I thought it would
be." I shouldn't have asked. I'm sorry. He has the sway to do what he wants. No, he really doesn't. Literally, no director in Hollywood has any sway to do anything unless they have their own studio. That's the sad reality of things. If he had the sway to do what he wants, that whole movie would have just been produced all at once because that's what he wanted to do, and they refused to give him all of the money to do it. It's a fucking bummer. The Dune movies? Is that Warner Brothers? Because I think originally it was supposed to come out on HBO Max.
Oh, oof. Like they're doing with Halloween now, that's coming out on Peacock at the same time it's coming. Who the fuck has Peacock? Why would you have Peacock?
Yeah, I thought Peacock was one of the free ones. So there's I don't
free ones anymore.
I don't know how that's gonna go. No, I'm pretty sure. Like I know IMDb is still a free one where you can just get it with ads, and that's why I'm like, so they're gonna let you watch it with just a bunch of ads in the middle of the movie?
Like I guess I don't know. You have to pay for it, right? I wonder if they're gonna do like HBO Max, where it's like, well, you pay your subscription, but also you have to pay $20 to watch this movie.
Yeah, that would be fucking wacky.
At the same time, like I'm sure other people are aware of those websites that have those movies the day after, right? Because I have one. I can still download torrents here because the police won't come after me because I'm in a third world country. So I just go to this website and they just put them up the day after, and I don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah, literally a couple of days ago. Dune can happen quite quickly if the studio wants it, according to Denny. But so far they're not even in pre-production on it. Not a good sign.
What, on the second one?
On Dune, the second part of it. Not a good sign that they're not even in pre-production with the guy who did the first one. And supposedly this one was received well. At least critically. Whether it sold well or not is a different story.
Do you really trust that though?
No, I don't trust anything anymore. Like, it's literally people just like, once studios started blacklisting people for shitty reviews and stuff, and people realized, oh, I'm not going to get my screener copies anymore if I'm honest about a movie. Everybody just started giving middling reviews or just blind praise to everything. And that's why I'm like, I am in a world of retards, or people are just shilling to cover their ass. And I think it's more of the covering their ass mentality at this point, because, you know, the people have a business to run. There's a lot of these, we talked about it before, like it's a huge thing among YouTubers alone, where YouTubers start blowing up and then change their everyday life and start living outside their means, and then the YouTube money dries up, and they're all of a sudden fucking insane people, and turn to extremism of one side or the other, or fucking just like completely melt down. There's all sorts of crazy suicides and shit. Like, people just lose their fucking minds. What is going on? Check your lease, Spencer. You're living on planet Tard. Yeah.
Well, that's why Rotten Tomatoes is not to be trusted anymore. Because if you read the positive reviews, sometimes they have nothing to do with the movie. A lot of the time it's just virtue signaling of like, well, they did this, this, and this, and it's like, you just wrote 1,000 words to say nothing about the movie, and it's all about how brave it is and how inclusive it is, or whatever the fuck. And it's like, okay, is the movie good? But it doesn't matter, because if they just give it a positive review, then you just add to the positives, but like it doesn't have to have any substance or actually talk about the movie at all.
Shang-Chi is higher rated than Citizen Kane on Rotten Tomatoes now. That's wacky. Citizen Shang. I love that movie because I haven't seen it yet, and fucking what's it called? Their final trailer to get everybody hyped for it was half just shaming the audience for not knowing how to say the character's name like a traditional Chinese person.
Yeah, that's great. Well, did you see that article that came out about how they on Iron Man 3, I don't remember who, like some Chinese person. I can say this because I am Chinese, so don't get your knickers in a bunch. But apparently the reason why the Mandarin was like not Chinese or like a fake Mandarin was because they were afraid of playing like Chinese stereotypes. So then they
didn't want to piss off the Chinese crowd.
Yeah, so now with this Shang-Chi movie, it's a lot of like, let's fight against Chinese stereotypes. And it's like, okay, but that's not the character.
Yeah.
So now they're just making movies to sell to China. So it's like, all right, then why the fuck
they're
would it get
okay
invested?
Stereotypes now, though, because they're like cultural stereotypes that the government signed off on in this one, and it's all sorts of like their like spirits and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people telling me there's like a bunch of great creature design and stuff in it, but I'm like, if it's that great, it probably should have showed up in the trailers to get people a little excited for something in the movie, instead of just bellhop doorman guy. Is weird.
Breakfast at Tiffany's.
Figuratron. I'm not down on Denis. We literally started that conversation saying he's like one of my favorite directors. I'm a realist and know like how Hollywood works from firsthand experience, talking to studios and people who have worked with them. And literally the interviews the guy did earlier this week, where he basically says the studio is not blowing him up about doing the other half of the movie that he desperately wants to do.
I'm a fan of, I think, all of his movies. I
Yeah.
have enjoyed all of them, but the thing is that once you, and they did this with like the American Godzilla that came out in like 2013 or 2015, where they grab a new director that has done decent to okay independent movies, and then this is a piece of shit that's barely featuring Godzilla because they needed to shove a horribly boring human story about a Marine that had no personality, and with one of the worst performances ever by Aaron Taylor Johnson, whatever his name is.
Oh, he's completely checked out. He's fucking that like middle-aged lady and just cashing checks from years ago.
Well, dude, the thing that pissed me off the most about that movie, I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theater, just because I was like, this fucking stinks. But there's a shot where Godzilla is destroying the city, and you see the monster there, and then the camera just goes down to focus on the Marine that's going away, and it's like, that's not what I'm here for. I don't give a fuck about this Marine and his wife that's like pregnant or whatever. I want to see Godzilla destroying some shit. Yeah. So
I don't think any of those movies have been great. Like, people I know love them because they love giant monster movies, but the Godzilla, like that whole giant, what is it, the Monarch trilogy, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't know how many there even are now, but they just did Kong vs. Godzilla and all that. All of them have
so stupid. I enjoyed it. That was dumb as fuck. But
they have like good parts. Like, I love Black Alex Jones in that one, and like that whole character whose name I can't remember because he was just Black Alex Jones. He was like the power company guy, or he sneaks into the power company or whatever in Godzilla versus Kong. He's just the black conspiracy theorist guy, and I cannot remember the character's name. But
the one that they made gay on that new Eternals movie.
Oh, they made him gay in Eternals?
Yeah, he plays like a gay guy.
You're a gay god.
You're a gay.
Everywhere you butt fuck, superheroes are born.
Yeah, Brian Tyree something. That guy.
Yes.
That guy.
Yeah, and oh god, I forgot he's in Eternals. He is, though, because he's like one of the ones that's looking extra. None of those outfits are flattering for any one of those actors. Like, they all are just looking real thick in those suits.
I'm just excited that they made Kumail Nanjiani do steroids or whatever the fuck to get that big, and then he just plays like a Bollywood character that dances.
Dude, when he first released that picture, I was like, I love my girlfriend. I am a straight man, but holy fuck, like, this dude got cranked. And I was like, maybe the Eternals movie is actually going to be like fucking wild. Like, why would you get that cranked to just like dance? And then no, it's just like.
And then you watch the first trailer. He's like, yeah, he's like, what the fuck?
I bet you he feels like an asshole. He's like, what the fuck, dude? I got hustled. And that's more of that. We've talked about it a bunch on this channel before, but that like, this is where the forced diversity, you can tell it's all bullshit because it's like it's not the intent, it's the execution. Like, my first comic book was Voidwalker. It wasn't intentionally the first one. It just, through circumstances, ended up being the first one that came out. The main character, Parker Ingram, is a black man, and that's like part of the story, but it's not the dude's whole fucking identity. And I like have talked about it a bunch on the show and basically explained that, like, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but it all comes down to like earnest execution and fucking caring about the story you're trying to tell and the character you're trying to develop. If you're just like, here's a gay guy and you should like him because he's gay, that's only gonna work with so many gay dudes before eventually they're like, hang on a minute. And like, there needs to be some meat on the bones to the character. And
it's also like the gayest person you've ever met. Like, it seems like
that's where I mean, it's a counterproductive thing. Like, the Eternals people, it feels offensive. Like, in reality, like, what they're saying is they want more diversity and they want to see different people than just the everyday white guy like me on the screen. But then they make the most shoddy, like fucked up, offensive representations of like I have tons of gay friends, fucking all sorts of ethnicities of friends.
All right, Spencer.
And right. I don't mean like I'm bragging, but I'm like, none of them are these like caricatures that I see on TV. And it's like, okay, you can write regular straight people, but then now that we are getting gay representation everywhere, why is all of it so like offensive and over the top? Like every Netflix show has some fucking extreme flamboyant gay character that it's just become like a Netflix has its own archetypes. And then there's also still like the regular flamboyant gay kid in the crew of archetypes. It's like, okay, we have the flamboyant gay kid, but we also have the turbo one that's like rides in like a glitter fucking convertible and
yeah, they shit rainbows and they cuff come out because they can't be a serial killer
movie, and there's a fucking was it Rip Taylor fucking gay man just whipping confetti everywhere? I'm like, God damn, dude.
It's like, guys, have you ever met a gay person that's not that stereotype?
Yeah,
they exist.
I've been through gay pride parades and not been this uncomfortable. Like,
it's like it doesn't have to be the gayest man in history for them to just be gay. You know,
there's a character in comics, Midnighter from DC Comics, who is like sort of like a Batman with like attunement powers, where he's got like really sharp senses and all of this shit, sort of super strength and a bunch of different stuff. And I think he's kind of like Taskmaster, if I remember correctly. He can kind of like break down your moves as you're doing them and anticipate what you're going to do, kind of thing. But like he's gay. That's like part of his like secret identity is he's a gay man. And I think he eventually ends up like marrying the guy he teams up with. I think the character's name is Apollo, but they're both like great fucking characters and then happen to be gay together. And you're like, oh, they're gay. And it's like, they're going to kiss in a panel every 6 or 7 issues, maybe, if you ever see it. And the rest of it is just two awesome characters fighting villains, beating shit up, and like doing good.
It's a normal guy. You don't need to have him sucking dick on every panel just to show.
Yeah, they're not at like an S&M leather bar every time they're not in their costume. Like,
yeah, it's like whenever he gets home, he doesn't have to get on his knees and blow his partner. Yeah. It's like, no, they're regular people. But
now that we're home from fighting crime, lock me in a sex dungeon.
Yeah, it's like, all right, well, I guess I'll put my knee pads on because it's my time to suck dick. Don't clip this. Yeah. So it's that's the thing that kind of bothers me because it's like, okay, so why is their sexuality the only thing that's important, or like the first thing that they're supposed to show? Why can't we have a human character that, hey, they just like the same sex, but that's not their main thing? Like that's not where I think
it's like a writer creator self-insert, which is really common in comics and everything right now. But it's that if you think that it's a self-insert, it's really easy to break down because say I'm the writer and I'm this gay dude, and basically my whole personality revolves around my gayness. And I'm sure you know people like that on Twitter and in real life and all over the place these days. Yeah. There's a lot of people that their whole identity is packaged up in like a handful of words, and everything to them is very black and white and clear cut. And if that's your whole identity is just like I'm Turbo Gay Man, like that's me. I'm Spencer the Gay Man. And then you're writing these self-insert stories. Yeah, this is the most clippable show I've done in a while.
It just that Turbo Gay Man just reminds me of like, what's that movie? Jingle All the Way? Is that the Arnold Turbo Man? It's Turbo Gay Man.
Yeah, that's a holiday season 2022. Every father's got to get their son a Turbo Gay Man or they're a bad dad.
It's rainbow colored, and
if you're doing a self-insert at that point and your like personality is just like I'm X, I'm Y, I'm this, and that's all you know to insert into your story, then that's why everything's so fucking doomed, and why we're getting like, and then you see these interviews where directors and writers and shit are like, yeah, I put so much of myself into this script that like I hate, like I say that now, like when I'm talking on streams, when I'm talking about shit that I'm working on, and I'm like, oh God, I hate that, because people are going to hear that. I think they're thinking what I think when I hear other people say that kind of shit now, because I'm like, oh man, I don't mean it's going to have a glitter throwing gay man in it when I say that.
What's the Robin that they now made like bisexual or some shit? Is that
I don't even know.
Grayson?
It's like it's the third one. Is it Tim Drake? I know the dudes in chat will know. I think it's
Drake, or is it Grayson?
I've been so removed from the Batman stuff for so long that like the Bat family shit is all confusing to me. Like, I've been open about how much I hate Scott Snyder and all that, the guy who like expanded that whole universe. But
that's my favorite part about Batman, though. I like Drake. How like. No, not Tim. Well, is that the gay one? The
that's the gay Robin, because Dick Grayson is the one that became Nightwing, and he's
Nightwing,
like,
and then Batman, right?
He's Dick Grayson's technically not even OG Robin, right? He's Robin 2, and the first one is Jason Todd, who got beat to death and became. I almost said Red Skull.
what they had a poll. What's it? Your phone number you could call to see if you wanted him to die or not, and most people called to kill him because nobody liked Jason Todd.
Of course, because before even the internet trolls existed.
Yeah, and that's why I think the Joker just kills him with like a crowbar or something in the comics.
Yeah, they did. One of the animated movies did it, or I think it might be Under the Red Hood. Did that whole scene and everything. It's crazy that the animated movies are like some of the best material to ever come out of DC Comics. But yeah, Under the Red Hood, if you've never seen, I'm pretty sure covers that scene and does it really well. And he comes up every time you're on now, but fucking one of the Supernatural dudes is the voice of him and like all that shit.
Padalecki?
No, it's Jensen Ackles, the older brother in Supernatural. Dean, I think is his name on the show. He does the voice for Red Hood, and I think a lot of the stuff that I don't know if he still does it, like if he did it in the games and shit like that, but
I think he did like Green Lantern, a couple of them too. Or something like that.
He does a lot of that stuff. I'm surprised you don't see those guys in more. He was in the My Bloody Valentine remake too.
Yeah.
And that's another remake that's like didn't need to happen, but ends up being way better than it had any business being too.
What was it called? Bloody Valentine 3D, I think it was called, or something like that.
And the 3D was actually decent for all the gimmicky shit everybody was doing with that at the time. Like,
I'm glad that's dead, by the way, because I remember how they tried to make it a thing, but most of it didn't work. And then they will give you this. I remember seeing Beowulf, which was just animated. But
I can tell you from working in one of the biggest theaters in Connecticut, like the general consensus from day one was people fucking didn't like it. Same thing with IMAX. People like the bigger screen and the better audio. They do not give a shit about the IMAX 3D. We got more complaints about people just paying the extra like $350 for the 3D features for the ticket, and like people getting sick because a lot of the movies were still, even if they weren't 3D, were still the 60 frames set up and all that. And the only movie that was genuinely film IMAX was The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Some scenes were in IMAX though, right? Not all of it.
We were one of so some scenes were in IMAX, but the whole print was on IMAX, film. So at that aspect ratio, but obviously like the full frame wouldn't be used for certain scenes. But if one scene is on IMAX and you're doing the whole thing on film, you can't just do like, all right, now we're running the one scene that's on film and we're going to switch back over to digital. So those reels were probably, so it's 2 reels and you're talking like I'm over 6 feet. Fucking, it was a little bit taller than me laying down was one of the spools, and the film, like the cells are probably like 4 inches tall, something like that, and however wide, probably almost like 6 inches wide per frame. So it's a fucking huge roll of film and everything. It took like 6 people to load it onto the IMAX, and yeah, like we were one of the biggest theaters, and I think we were one of like 3 theaters on the East Coast that actually got one of the film prints. So when that film came out, we got people from like all up and down the East Coast traveling to see the movie at our theater in like that format. And it was really fucking cool and everything, but that's like the only movie I can think of that ever did that. And then I think Hateful Eight, I think they ran that. Any ones that got the film prints were run in the IMAX studios, but they're technically, I think, slightly bigger than IMAX. That was like the 70 millimeter.
Ashen Jackal here is mentioned RPX. I saw.
Is that that new 4D one or whatever?
No, that's when the seat moves, and if there's like water or whatever, they splash water on your face. And
okay, I thought that was the same thing as is 4D, just like a different brand of that? Because the theater I used to work at got a 4D theater recently, and it is kind of like that. I don't even know what that is. The chairs are way more comfortable. They like vibrate during scenes, like haptic feedback for the chair. But instead of like spraying you with water, it just mists you with like cold fog and shit.
I think it was Hobbit 2, which is a piece of shit. By the way, that trilogy is completely unnecessary. No one should watch those movies. It's like 9 hours of just filler. But I saw I think it was the second one, because I remember scenes with the eagle where the seat would just move a lot, and I was like, okay, this is kind of like a cool experience, kind of like a ride more than a movie, because the movie was really not great. So that did enhance it. But then after that, I guess Disney movies would work on that type of seat, because then I saw that they did it for like Aladdin, that live action Aladdin, but it's just like I have no interest in
the Disney parks have like the heightened version of that too. My girlfriend brought me to one of, I think it's called like Soarin' or some shit like that. They hook you into basically like an overhead cage where your feet are dangling, and you're watching like a curved IMAX screen, and it's basically like a bird's eye view, or like you're in a hang glider or something, just like flying over different parts of the world, and it's fucking like the most high definition footage in existence of these places, and they put you so fucking close to the screen, and you're hanging in the air, and it's like spraying fucking mist and shit at you, and like the temperature in the room rapidly drops and increases and stuff to like simulate the areas you're in. So like you're literally like flying through Antarctica, like just over ice and shit, and they're blowing like frosty mist in your face, and then it just like nosedives into the water, and right as it hits the water, you're like in a fucking desert all of a sudden, and they're blowing hot air at you. It's fucking the weirdest shit. But
the last time I went to one of those places, I was 12, which is almost like 23 years ago. I go
drunk, so it's the same.
Yeah, I went to Disney and Universal Studios at the time, and they had a Terminator show that it was kind of like that.
Fuck, dude, I would have killed for that.
It was pretty cool, but there was not much. Like it was just when like the robots would explode, like shit would drizzle on you, and that was it. And then they had like a
spray the kids with hot oil.
It would be like a stage show where the actors would come out of the screen, and it was someone that kind of looked like that woman, but not really. And then after that, everything else was just kind of shitty. And I just remember being 12 and being not very impressed by it, even though I was coming from a third world country where I was supposed to just be like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I was kind of like, this is kind of gay.
As a grown man, I had to get really hammered to enjoy a lot of it. And then all of the stuff I would have enjoyed sober, I was so drunk I would have thrown up if I did it. So like the Tower of Terror is a really cool ride. That's basically just like drops you really quick. Is all weird. I think there was like an Aerosmith ride or something. I don't remember if I hallucinated that. I think that might have been at Universal.
No, that's a video game. I remember that.
No, there is an Aerosmith video game where you shoot fucking albums. The album gun, dude. That shit rocked.
Talk about how old you are that you remember an Aerosmith ride. When were they relevant last? When fucking Armageddon came out?
I'm pretty sure it's. Let me see. I'm pretty sure it's still there.
What, Steven Tyler shows up every day because he has nothing better to do.
Yeah, he just rides his own ride all the time. Yeah, the Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith is still at Disney theme parks.
Damn, that's grim. No one knows who Aerosmith is anymore if you're young.
Oh, yeah, that's the craziest thing is, like, I'm talking, like, this is when I went with my girlfriend and her family, like, in the last 5 years or so. I was like, whoa. Hang on, what? like Aerosmith barely cuts off for my generation. Like, I only know about it because of my dad. Like, I remember, like, Crazy being on the radio and shit as a kid and being like, wow, this is metal. Like,
is this Steven Tyler spitting hepatitis on everyone?
Yeah,
that's I remember being the X.
Like 8, and even knowing it was weird that he cast his daughter as the hot girl in his music video, the hot girl stripper.
Yep. Liv Tyler.
Spencer looks like 20-something and behaves like a 10-year-old. That's how I stay looking young. God damn it. Steven Tyler got me choking. Yeah. Hard to believe I'm 31.
Steven Tyler looks like Val Kilmer now. You know, just like an old native woman for whatever reason.
Val Kilmer looks insane now.
Well, he's got that cancer. That's funny cancer, right?
Yeah, funny cancer.
His throat cancer, where he's now
safe to laugh at.
He's now humble and like now he's a nice guy, even though he's been a dick for his entire career to everyone. But now he's like, I got a haul, so I'm nice now. And it's like, fucking no, you just wear a scarf now and look like a Native American lady.
Yeah, if karma were a fucking lightning rod, holy shit, dude. Yeah, he looks like an old like native lesbian woman. Cause he like I remember hearing something about how he buys a bunch of shit from like a local tribe and stuff now.
Yeah, he's just wearing turquoise and fucking I didn't watch that
one of the most handsome men in the world, and now he looks like a hot dog.
It's supposed to be like a good, heartfelt documentary, but he was such an asshole in the 80s and 90s that I can't feel bad for him because he's got cancer now. You know, I've read so many stories about it.
I thought he survived the cancer. Like, I thought that was the whole thing because, like, he had the cancer back when I was supposed to meet him at the con. He literally tabled like 3 tables away from us in the whole weekend. I'm still pissed about this. I've already told you the story, but I'm like,
yeah, you mention it every time we're live.
Yeah, that was fucking. That was like the year that they announced that he was, I think, like in remission or whatever. Unless he's got it again, and they were like, let's make a documentary. He might die this time. Spencer's like those monks who stay in temples out of the sun. That's the best description of me ever. I'm white Buddha. I'm rounding off by the day too. That's why I need to get back to jogging and shit. I'm rotund.
I got a stationary bike so that I can just sweat at home.
Writing isn't as sexy as I thought it sounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes the pounds fall right off. Land on your ass.
What's the Iron Maiden video game? I've only played like Ryan said, I played the pinball. I know there's like a mobile game where you play as what's the Eddie? In like multiple versions of Eddie, but I've never actually downloaded it. So I don't know.
Pokemon with Eddie.
I was a fan of Iron Maiden when I was like 16 to maybe 20. But then after that, I was just, I don't know. The singing doesn't really I turned to screaming, and then now all I listen to is like beats and like hip hop and shit like that. So
yeah,
my
all I
Iron
listen to
Maiden,
is lo-fi playlists.
yeah, all I listen to is like a vaporwave now because I'm old.
Yeah, that's what happens. We all eventually return to the vaporwave womb. I was talking about your non-fucked up complexion. Yeah, it's weird. My girlfriend's always pissed because she does like all this crazy skincare shit, and I do absolutely nothing and have the skin of a baby. You'll see me break out like a wild nerd every once in a while where it looks like I'm 15 again, and then it won't happen for like a whole year. But I don't know. My parents like made a deal with the devil or something. I'm waiting to find out where my where my shortcomings really are.
That's my thing too, where it's like I've gotten so many like, oh, you're 35, you don't look 35, and I'm like, okay, well, give me 5 years and I look fucking 60, because that's what happens with Chinese people, right? Like they look young until they don't, and then they just look ancient. Yeah, so hopefully
the milk syndrome.
I'll just look wise, even though I'm kind of fucking retarded. So I'm just waiting for that moment where my hair just falls out very embarrassingly, which is what it started happening already.
And then I just can grow a really long mustache.
Just a Fu Manchu, just very long, and
everything goes silver. Yeah, not even gray, just like metallic silver. Yeah. How does this happen? Is Spencer's a Frankenstein monster made of babies? Yeah, basically, dude. If I haven't shaved probably in like a year now, other than like trimming my beard. I need to shave. I look like a crackhead conquistador, but I'm probably gonna shave when I do the life cast of my head soon, just so I have like a clean cast of it, and you can all see my fucking baby chin and how I look 14 again as soon as I shave.
See, I can't grow a long beard because my hairs just get long and wispy.
So this would be back in like 2 months. Like that's the whole thing. Like I haven't trimmed it in a couple of months now because I get like so fucking sick of it. And I went from like not even being able to grow facial hair like you to this in like an overnight span. I woke up one day and just like had a beard coming in. It was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, no. See, my girlfriend is very nice, but whenever because I don't care, whenever I just let it go, she's like, oh, so you're growing that, huh? And I'm just like, all right, I get it. It's time for me to shave this thing because it's starting to get embarrassing. You don't want to be seen out with me and like my long wispy mustache. It's
gotta start rocking the Rogaine, thicken it up.
It's terrible. No.
Rubbing Rogaine on it so you just have like a fist beard. You hit 40 and you have a Chuck Norris beard. Shave at sunup and you have a new beard at sundown.
Yeah, just get a goatee. And actually what Ryan just said, that actually looks pretty awesome. If I could grow my eyebrows like Pai Mei, then I think I could probably.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
But
it's like the isn't that a nod to the shitty guy in the shitty Dragon Ball movie?
How dare you? That movie's awesome. Dragon Ball Evolution? I love that movie.
No.
Oh.
There's a Dragon Ball movie, live action movie from like the 80s that I don't even think is legal.
Oh yeah, we saw that on Civic TV. It's
okay, you
Dragon
guys
Ball,
have watched it?
Yeah. Fuck, I can't remember what the name of it is. Now, Dragon Ball Evolution, when it came out,
Dragon Ball The Magic Begins? Is that the
I think that's the one where Puar the pig is like a black guy, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
or like someone wearing like blackface.
It's like half really accurate, half really offensive and confusing. I haven't seen it since I was a kid.
So when I was living in Canada, I was friends with a lot of like anime dorks, right? and they were, I guess, excited to see a Dragon Ball movie in the theater. But I saw the trailer, and I don't think they did. When I saw the trailer, I was like, all right, so Goku goes to high school in the States. This is going to be a piece of shit. So I knew I was prepared to what was coming. They were not. And the whole time I was just laughing out loud watching that piece of shit. And they were so angry that just made me laugh harder. And I don't know if you've seen it any time recently, but it's such a piece of shit. But I'm not attached to Dragon Ball at all, because even though I watched it when I was a kid, like whenever they do that, like what they're doing with One Piece now on Netflix, or Cowboy Bebop, where it just looks like absolute shit.
Yeah, I'm probably not watching that.
I am, just for the funny factor, because of how bad they're gonna fuck it up. But when I saw
getting burnt out on even hate watching shit though. Like I'll watch like an episode, and if it really sucks, I'm just like, all right, I'm good. Like I can't push myself to watch shit like that.
I was in a row of seats with like 6 other dorks that love that were obsessed with Dragon Ball. So it felt like when I went to see the first Paranormal Activity, and I was sitting next to 2 big fat black ladies, and that's probably my favorite experience in a movie theater, because the whole time they were like, like they were very like cartoony black people, and they just enhanced what Paranormal Activity was. And when I was watching that with my friends, their misery just made me enjoy the movie a lot more. And now I'm kind of afraid of watching Dragon Ball Evolution again, because if I'm not in that environment, I probably just think it's a piece of shit like it is. But I just remember just loving how much they hated it, that it just made it so much funnier to me.
Yeah, we need a Dragon Ball Z movie with Jonah Hill as Mr. Popo, full blackface with the lips like figure drawing thing. Yeah, talking all like mentally challenged like he is.
Yeah,
what was African. That in the show? Oh, didn't he talk really slow in one of the dubs of it though? He like.
It was like African voice, right?
I don't think that's what it was. Hans, have you been to Africa? Jesus. They don't talk like that, man.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Everybody's really slow over there. I remember he's like the retarded like gardener on fucking, was it Master Roshi's Island? Oh my god. Yeah. African. Yeah.
I don't remember Gardner.
No, I don't, not really. I don't know what his purpose is other than to kind of be a racist stereotype. Like,
listen,
it's
China. Like it's China, right? They don't care about racial
he's
sensitivity at all.
The comic relief for the bunch. They just look at him and giggle. They're like, how the fuck did we let you exist?
Yeah.
It rocks.
Yeah.
That's like
it's very like commendable whenever they don't have the sensitivities that we have on this side of the world, I guess, and you're just watching, you're like, God damn, that's real freedom, we're just like,
well, they look at it like art should be looked at. You're looking to get an extreme reaction out of people, no matter what it is, and that's a fucking striking image for damn sure. It's like my little kid brain was like, whoa, something's weird about this. And then I got older and was like, oh yeah, something's definitely weird about this. But
Michael B. Jordan, Mr. Popo.
That would be insane.
Just a ripped Mr. Popo, and he's just like, white supremacy here in heaven.
Am I just misremembering Mr. Popo being like retarded?
No, he wasn't retarded. He just spoke like a stereotypical African voice.
Oh, I don't remember. Maybe I heard like a different dub or something. I don't know. It's like I remember him like talking all slow. And
he was wise. He would help Goku train. He was I
gotta pull
like
up
a spiritual. He was like a spiritual leader. I think.
Yeah, they made him like neon blue eventually. He's sort of like, what's up, motherfucker? Like, whoa, I don't remember this dub.
Samuel L. Jackson's Mr. Popo.
The view hasn't changed a bit.
I probably shouldn't make this full screen.
Shut up. I beg your pardon? Have you any inkling that simple little head of yours who you're speaking to?
Oh, please, do go on.
I am the usurper.
Oh, it
What?
sounds British.
Thrown
The
your
fuck?
Wait, it sounds like a gay British guy?
dear. I am Garlic Jr., returned from the
Listen,
red zone.
I watched Dragon Ball with the Spanish dubbing, so maybe that's why I got the stereotypical African voice. I don't know. This English,
the Spanish dub is super racist.
Oh yeah, they really could not give two shits. Like
Look
this
at
British,
me.
the
I'm
British
Mr. Popo
voices. Yeah. They go Baghdad Agdi or whatever his fucking name was to voice Mr. Popo. If you look for it on YouTube, just like Spanish dub or whatever, Mr. Popo, and you'll hear what I used to hear. Because I remember they would play it at like 5:30, and I would get out of school at 5:45. I would just run home to watch it and catch like the last 15 minutes of Dragon Ball Z. But he always sounded like a typical African. Typical, well, not African, but like typical stereotypical African accent.
Like that almost sounds Jamaican.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's the same. It's similar. It's
fantastic.
You know, Islander type of thing. But I really wasn't expecting that to sound British, both of them.
Yeah, it's like, why does he sound like a flamboyant British guy when we were just talking about that? Neither of us were right. I don't know what happened. Fucking Lores said he might show up, but he also said he's shooting something in his apartment.
Yeah.
I said I hope hardcore porno to fund the rest of Mass State Lottery. That dude is like a mystery to me. The more I talk to him, the less I know about him.
Who, Loris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, sure thing, man. Show up if you want to. Drop the link to him. It's like, show up if you want to.
Well, listen, I've known him for like 12 years, and I still don't really know. I've been to his house, still don't really know him.
I don't know his name.
don't know what his real name is. No, but yeah, he's an enigma. I think he's autistic, like me, because he doesn't really show who he really is. So it's kind of like, all right.
Didn't he put his real name on the poster? Yeah, I was like, oh, that's gonna throw a lot of people off.
Yeah,
because I was aware of him. He had like used it a little bit here and there early on when I found you guys, like, and it like got phased out. I don't know if I should even be talking about this. His name is Lores.
Yeah. Well, that's something that we talked about on the last episode that we did, where it was like, because of all the internet attention that you can get, most of the time it's not positive, right? But yeah, he doesn't really have like a regular job, so
I was gonna say I just learned to not give a fuck.
Well, for me, I have a regular job in a third world country, so if you Google my name, you can find a lot of sketches where I say things that maybe I should not say. So at the time, I was like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't use my full name. Maybe I should come up with something. But then it was too late.
Change your name already to Hans Smith.
There was already like a bunch of sketches with my name on it, so I was like, you know what, fuck it. If they Google my name and find that shit and it's too offensive for them to hire me, I guess I'm not meant for that. Yeah.
Lores is just murdering a home intruder. He's like, I got something to shoot really quick. Give me like 30 minutes. Sure thing, dude. Whatever. Yeah.
Find Latino.
I just lost my train of thought.
Okay, I think I found a Mr. Popo Latin American clip that I can send you.
Hold
on.
Fantastic. I think you might be able to share it through StreamYard. There's like a button at the bottom. Just make sure you share audio if you can.
Okay. Let's see if this works. Oh, I need to share the screen. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Can you hear it? I can't hear shit.
No, I don't think.
Oh, this is going great.
If you drop the link in private chat, I can pull it up too.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Oh, Jesus. All right.
Porno. Hans is just looking at cake.
I have a bunch of recipes of shit that I'm never gonna make, but I'm like, yeah, this looks good. This looks easy to make. Peanut butter cheesecake, whatever, with Oreos or something that will give me a stomachache if I make it.
Whoa, that just sounded like Japanese when that instant started.
I used to save a lot of things when I would smoke weed, where I would just recipes of like I can make this, and then I would be not high and be like, this is no, I don't want to do all this work.
Does anyone else think of William Gibson's Idoru when they hear low res? I actually haven't read that.
I don't even know what it is.
It's the dude who did Neuromancer, and he's kind of like the godfather of like cyberpunk. I think he's actually credited with like coining the term technically. He's like a futurist nerd and a great writer. I've only read Neuromancer and like some short stories and stuff that he's done. I think I actually have Neuromancer on my shelf over there, but I will have to check that out. Team 4-star Mr. Popo is the best Popo. Yeah, let's check this out.
See what I mean? That's why I thought that he was like like that African voice.
We got an African guy who speaks Spanish.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello, Goku. Hola, Goku. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Yeah.
Oh man, dude, Costa Rica rocks.
That's the thing. Like Latin America doesn't really have that. Well, I don't know if now they do, but all of the shows that we get from the States or anywhere, like they would just dub them in a way that it would work for the entirety of Latin America. So they would never have a specific accent or dialect, because even though we all speak Spanish, like it's like a different variation of Spanish. So then they would use words that no one uses, but you would just get used to it. And that was just like a very like African/Jamaican voice that they gave him, because I guess they thought, it makes sense because he's black. But then when you grow up, you're kind of like, oh, that's kind of racist, which I guess didn't matter back in the early 90s. But yeah.
Oh man.
They never cared about racial
I need to figure.
or anything like
I thought it was like on Toonami or something, because that's where I watched it back in the day. But I could have sworn he talked like slow and like brain damaged. Like maybe I'm thinking of a different character or something. But yeah, I swear he was like rewritten to be like a dumb guy. Like the fact that he was just speaking cohesive sentences even in Spanish was like, wait, what? This isn't my Mr. Popo.
Well, no, he trained Goku to make him stronger, right?
I remember him being like, like sort of like a sage type and helping. He's almost like, like an assistant coach or something to the team whenever Goku would go to that island to train and whatnot. It's Master Roshi.
Was heaven.
Roshi, right?
Heaven. That was not an island. It was just heaven, right?
Yeah, whatever. It's Master Roshi, right? The old guy?
Yeah, the one that whenever he gets horny, he gets nosebleeds, which I can relate to.
Amazing. This is which I can relate to.
the
Spending so much money on sheets out here.
The one that was kind of retarded was what is it, Mr. Satan? Wasn't that his name? The guy with an afro and like a handlebar. Yes, yeah. His
Yeah, he's
name
like
in
Mr.
Spanish was
Satan, and
Mr.
then
Satan.
yeah, I think he was Mr. Satan for a little while in the show, and then they call him Hercule, or maybe
And then you have Jairobe.
because he's like sort of like a
retarded.
celebrity, right? When they first introduce him, he's like a
He presents
character
himself
playing
as-
a character.
Well, he presents himself as like the strongest man in the world.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he was like an actor or something, but I think something like that. And
that's
then
why I think he's like introduced as Mr. Satan, but he's this person Hercule playing Mr. Satan, and I think that's like the angle. I haven't seen that shit in forever, and
Yeah, it's been a while.
I like have all my friends always like, you really need to read the mangas, and I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to it.
I did that with the original Dragon Ball because one of my roommates when I was living in Canada had all of them.
I don't like
but
pirate shit or read it digitally, so I was like, I have to like go and buy it, and just to get one manga series, you have to invest in like a whole new fucking bookshelf.
Yeah, it's like
especially
30.
that one. Akira Toriyama's been doing it for like 40 fucking years or something crazy like that at this point. Like that
Well, I
was
think
that had
One
like
Piece is
30
still going,
books
right?
when I was a child. Yeah, One Piece I think is one of the longest running ones ever. For sure,
Yeah.
somebody can fucking correct me, but I'm pretty sure One Piece has like hundreds of chapters now, or volumes, whatever the fuck you want to call them.
Well, they're gonna ruin it with Netflix too, so that's exciting.
I really think that over in Japan, they're like, they're businessmen, so they're probably just like laughing and like slapping each other with the bundles of yen they have, and just don't even watch the shit. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if those dudes don't even show up to the premiere, because that kind of shit is like if they were really on board and invested in it, and then it were dog shit, then it would be like a huge slap in the face to them. But I think they just sort of like take the check and wash their hands of it, which is the best way to do this shit nowadays. Yeah. If they're not gonna like give you the money to let you control it yourself, make that bag and go make more of just the book for your fans. Like,
also, most of those times they have a chance of making like a decent Japanese movie with them, like shows like G-Force. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but they did a pretty decent CGI movie based on I think it's called Gacha Man. Okay, so they
I've
did
they
did a pretty okay movie with that in Japan, and they tend to do that just because in Japan they just.
That was the one that started the Team Robo wave, right? That was one of the ones where they all had coordinated outfits and shit, kind of like the Power Rangers.
No, they're all birds.
Oh, okay, that's okay.
Yeah, that show was awesome. By the way, when I was a kid, I used to love that show. But they made their own version. So now, if Americans want to take it over and do it,
oh yeah, they were all birds. Don't they have weird spaceships or some shit?
They have a spaceship that I think divides into others, just like every other, anime.
Okay, yeah, so it was part of the big robot wave. That's what I mean. So they were basically it all turned into one big mech sort of thing. Oh man, I need to check the movie out.
It's all right. It's like I don't know. I feel like Japanese people have more. Or try to make it as they're not afraid of going all out when it comes to an anime representation of it. But then you bring it to America and you have to make it fit into the confinement of what American cinema is, which is why something like Death Note. I haven't seen it.
It's not even American cinema. It's just this weird what the studio thinks this phantom audience wants, which is the phantom audience is just that palatable, everyone wants to see it movie that is not a real movie anyone wants to see, sadly.
Right.
Loris
actually told me that Death Note movie is not that bad, but it's because he has no attachment to the anime at all. And he said, Adam Winger, it's not that terrible. I haven't seen it yet.
It's a competent movie if you read the books and everything. I understand why you're pissed, because from what I gathered, it's nothing like it. And the movie just story wise is kind of whatever. There's some cool bits. I think they did a good job with the CGI and everything, where Like, it's weird that they go for things really accurate in some places and then not really anywhere else.
Does Willem Dafoe play the creepy character? 'Cause he's perfect.
I don't even remember him being in it. It has I thought it was the same kid from Hereditary. I didn't realize it's his. No, it's his brother.
No, it's the kid from Hereditary, not Wolf. The one with the gross mole.
They're two different people. Or did I mix it up again? Because his brother is an actor too, and his brother is a shitty actor. Yeah, Alex Wolff is in Hereditary.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought they were one person until like a week or two ago when I figured this out, dude. Yeah. So the one that's in Death Note is just a dog shit actor. The one that's in Hereditary is actually a good actor.
The one with the mole is the one in Hereditary, right?
And the one that's in Hereditary is also in Pig. This one, though, I think has like a beauty mark or a mole or something, but it's not in the same spot. But my brain was just like, same dude. And I was like, I think I talked about it when I first talked about Pig. I was like, I don't know how the fuck this is the same dude that was in the Netflix Death Note movie. And everybody was like, what are you talking about? That's his brother. It was like, wait, there's two of them? Yeah.
He was in My Friend Dahmer, which was a comic book before it became a movie. I've read that. Yeah. He played the author of the book.
Yeah, Durfback. I think that's his name.
Backdurf.
Backdurf.
Yeah.
Durf. My brain damage is kicking in. That was Dafoe. Who did it? Was he like one of the detectives or something? Why can't I remember him being in it? No,
Dafoe was the monster's voice.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Why that didn't click with me at all. Yeah, My Friend Dahmer, the book and the movie are great.
Yeah, I did really enjoy those too. That's one of the very few like comic books that I got. Just because in my late 20s, I was very obsessed with serial killers, and I would just buy whatever media
I think we all
would come from that. Yeah,
we all go through that phase, I'm sure.
Yeah,
autists.
Yep.
Yeah, and again, it's the good acting brother. I'm trying
Alex Wolff.
Yeah,
Nat Wolff is the one that sucks.
Now I'm trying to see. Yeah, because Nat Wolff, and that's the other thing. Nat Wolff was just in that remake of Stephen King's The Stand that went to like Peacock or something like that. Maybe it was like Paramount or some shit. It went to some streaming service to die. Have you watched that?
I saw 20 minutes of the first episode and I was like, cool, this is not for me at all. This sucks.
That's one of those things that's like so like bad it's funny and might be worth like ripping into sometime. Nate or Nat Wolff is in that, and the character he plays in it is like ungodly. And he also plays a character in the upcoming Joe Exotic show they're doing. I think he plays the boyfriend that killed himself accidentally or intentionally.
See, like, I'm not a huge fan of, and I know this is controversial to say.
That shows you, though, the caliber of that show is they got the shitty Wolf brother to be one of the dudes.
I know it's controversial to say, but I'm not a huge fan of Stephen King. I think he's kind of a hack.
I've said it plenty on here already.
I feel like he's held with such high regard, but I've never read his. I tried reading The Shining, and I couldn't finish it just because it's so fucking wordy. But then when you watch anything that is inspired by his books or whatever, it feels like a very 3 out of 10 for me most of the time.
A lot of it now is a lot of the same shit too. Like even in his books, it's like you're gonna get a bunch of like almost like character interviews where it's just like, here's a small town person and I'm gonna spend 30 pages fleshing out just who they are, even though they're not important to the story.
He's also become very like a boring old man once he stopped doing coke. Because when he was doing coke, you were like, all right, well, this is a deranged person writing.
Everybody's cool when you do coke.
Exactly. And then it's just like, well, now he's just like a I hate Trump type of old guy. And it's kind of like,
he's tapped out of ideas. He's also, I don't know if you were on that night, but I said before, he's one of those dudes where they were like, oh, it's in a multiverse. And he was like, yeah, it's a multiverse. And it was like the Dark Tower stuff is like that. But I like the idea that he was writing stuff to stand on its own. And now it doesn't really feel like that. I've heard the pulp stuff he's doing. Like he does like some crime noir stuff now. That's almost like its own imprint. I forget the name of it. I think I saw Jake posting one of them recently.
Not sure.
But yeah, he does like pulp crime noir. I think they're more novellas. But I've been meaning to check those out. But those are like, Stephen King not doing horror. It's like a Raymond Chandler kind of hard-boiled crime noir thing, which is dumb shit I'm into. Like, give me really just on-the-nose narration and women beating and gun shooting and bootlegging and all sorts of weird shit.
Like, I would prefer something like Maximum Overdrive, where it's so obvious that he's so high throughout the whole thing. Even if you watch the Trout movie or in the trailer that he presents,
where he's sitting at the truck. I'm Stephen King and I'm on cocaine.
Yeah, he's so cooked out of his head that you're like, all right, well, I can respect this. But then, like, I feel like his creativity, like, went with the coke, and then it just became like the same type of thing. And even something like Dr. Sleep, which I thought was absolute horse shit, you're kind of like, all right, then why would you continue a story that I know that you don't like what Kubrick did, even though he did it better than when you ended up doing with that TV series or whatever the fuck that was. But like continuing that story with a gang of fucking witches and
pedophile vampires, man. It was awesome.
It's just no. I never read the book, but I saw
kids.
I saw that.
Yeah, no, I didn't read the book either.
I saw Dr. Sleep and I was like, what is this shit?
Did Mr.
Why
Mercedes
are you doing this?
Did Mr. Mercedes get a series, or did I imagine that? Because I remember buying, that was a book he did a couple years ago. I bought it and then forgot I had bought it, and it's just been sitting on my shelf. I've never read it. It's like about a crazy guy who like runs over crowds of people, and it was inspired by like one of the first like big ones where that happened like 10 years back. And I guess
well, there's a series, a 3-season series starring Brendan Gleeson.
Okay, they did make one. I was like, I thought they had made one, but I never remembered hearing anything about it.
So he's just a guy that drives. He just drives people over for 3 seasons. Is that?
Yeah, right. Just runs people down. That's all I know about it. And my buddy was like, "It's really good," and it was evidently enough to convince me to fucking go out and buy the book and never read it.
Yeah, Maximum. That trailer is awesome. It's just.
I'm Stephen King, and you're not gonna like this movie if you're not on a bunch of cocaine right now, like me.
My name is
Look at his face.
I just got hit by a van.
Maximum Overdrive, which is the first one I've directed. Wow.
What the dickens is going on around here?
A lot of people have directed Stephen King novels and stories. And I finally decided if you want
that's that Rogaine beard we were talking about, Hans.
Yeah. Yep.
You gotta start rubbing that shit on, man.
I don't know.
Oh God.
First picture as a director.
Is that Yeardley Smith or whatever her name is?
Enjoyed it.
Look at his eyes.
Like Lisa Simpson.
Is it?
Yep.
I just wanted someone to do Stephen King right.
Oh my God. It's like sexual innuendo. He's talking about jerking himself off.
Time with me and my friends at the Dixie Boy. spend some time in the dark.
Please don't leave me in the dark.
Can you imagine how the studio heads felt?
Scare the hell out of you.
They were like, holy fuck, who signed off on this?
And that's a promise.
You're going to get us in an awful lot of trouble, man. We already in trouble.
Maximum terror.
Look at Emilio. Young Emilio.
Maximum king.
Maybe tomorrow will be our world again.
This is Marvel's greatest shame.
Presents Stephen King's Maximum.
Was that Dino De Laurentiis produced?
Yep. Goddamn. I'm Stephen King and I'm on a fuck ton of cocaine. I spent 2/3 of the budget of this movie on blow.
Hey, I've seen other people directing movies based on my books, but never me. It's just like, all right,
I was wondering when I'm writing the books, why don't I get to direct? He just keeps licking his lips like, what the fuck is going on? Steven, let's maybe do another take. No, I think that was good. Oh. Holy fuck.
Yeah,
man,
and then you watch something like fucking Dreamcatcher and you're like, oh, this stinks. Why was this even made?
From right after his accident when he was just rocked out on painkillers. I love too that like the movie came out and he was like, yeah, like same thing when the book came out. He's like, yeah, it's on fucking painkillers. I told you guys that when the book came out. Like that's the only thing I like about Stephen King is when he like is just like no shit. Like that's why I wish he never got on Twitter and like started talking politics and shit because I'm like. You're like a rich Mainer, dude. Like, literally everyone around you is probably the most diehard Trump people ever. And, like, he's
Maine,
just this,
right?
like, weirdo hippie. Yeah. It's like, that is not a very liberal area if you've ever been up there. It's just like getting corny on the internet and butthurt about stuff is like save your politics and everything for your books. Like if you're a great writer, you know how to inject that shit into your stories without being ham-fisted and building shit up.
What's the latest like film project that he's or at least that was
oh God, who fucking knows? Did you see they announced more remakes? I Know What You Did Last Summer is being remade right now, I think by Amazon Prime. What the fuck was the other one? There was another one where I was like, oh fuck. I don't know. I might have to like DM it to you later or something. Yeah, there's a couple new horror movie reboots announced like in the last couple of days, like right after we were joking about it the other night.
Let's see, writer. Was it Cujo?
Wasn't that one. That's another one. Though.
Salem's Lot?
Salem's Lot, yeah. William Sadler posted that they just started shooting the Salem's Lot reboot. That's the other one I was thinking of. No clue who's producing it or anything, and that would be the newest Stephen King project. That was why that correlated. My brain at least made some sense of it.
IMDb says there's another Untitled Pet Cemetery project too.
Yeah, they were, as soon as that last movie came out, they were already talking about redoing it again. That movie... They did some test screenings from what I remember, and it didn't go well, and they were expecting it to, like, pretty much bomb like it did. I think it made its money back, but, like, they always think horror movies are going to be, like, a smash like Paranormal Activity was, not realizing that those movies make a fuckload of money because they don't spend a ton of money.
The guy that's in charge of that Salem's Lot remake is the guy that wrote Annabelle, Annabelle's Creation, and Annabelle Comes Home, and then Nun. So it's probably going to be a piece of shit. Well, that's fun. Another shitty Stephen King property. Not really surprised.
Wait,
That song was ham-fisted, but it's also very much of the time. Like
the
like,
original
I feel like
like
it works.
mini series or whatever.
Yeah. I feel like it works just because it's
I love
such
that.
a 80s thing. Yeah, but now trying to revive all of those properties into like 2021 is kind of like just come up with
it was Tobe
things.
Hooper, man. Like it was fucking very well directed. I think honestly the only thing that could have made that better is if they had given him more of a budget back then to do that. It's sort of like they gave him enough for one movie and it was twice as long, so he had to make work with what he could. I'm wondering if William Sadler is like old. What is it? Is it Ben Mears is the old guy, or is that the kid? I can't remember right now for some reason. The like main character that goes hunting in the town. I'm wondering if Sadler's like the main dude, or if he's gonna be like Barlow or something.
Well, Sadler doesn't even have that credit as an upcoming at all. It says that he was in the Unholy in 2021, and then
I just saw him post about it on Twitter like last night. I'm pretty sure. I think it was William Sadler. Hang on.
Oh, he's 5'8". That's adorable.
Yeah, William Sadler, it's his pinned tweet right now. Just started filming Salem's Lot based on Stephen King's terrifying novel. Stay tuned.
It's really sad what becomes of these directors. This is something that me and Laura talk about a lot. How the late career of these directors that were iconic in the 80s becomes kind of a joke. Because I'm looking at Tobe Hooper's last films, and it's like Gin, Destiny Express, Mortuary, which is not very good. Like Toolbox Murders.
Toolbox Murders rips. Oh, hate.
And then Mangler. Yeah.
Mangler wasn't bad. Which Masters of Horrors did he do? I don't even remember.
Let's see. He did The Damn Thing and Dance of the Dead.
I literally don't remember either of those.
Oh
no, Dance of the Dead was the god awful one with the really like androgynous Robert Englund one. Jin was his last movie in 2013. I don't think I ever saw that. Whoa, he did the Taken miniseries from 2002 that has nothing to do with the movies. Crocodile, I remember rocking. Oh yeah, he's got a lot of dog shit in here. Night Terrors looks rad. I don't remember seeing that. That's a great poster. Yeah, but I mean, those horror guys, that's that whole thing where like they do one or two really big ones. Like Carpenter is one of my favorite directors, and realistically, he just has that run in the 80s. Or like 70s, I like a lot too. Like Assault on Precinct 13's one of my favorite of his, and it's not his like cleanest movie by any means. But I love it. Yeah, let me pull his shit up. How weird is this though?
Yeah, but then he's got the Ward.
Was the Equalizer a reboot? There's all these. The Equalizer TV series in '88 he did an episode of, which is a modern action series today. Nowhere Man, which he did 2 episodes of, which I'm pretty sure was also rebooted. Where was the other one?
I feel like Cronenberg was one of the very few ones that was able to pivot into something else that maybe it's not horror, but it's like unsettling drama type of thing. Because Dangerous Method, Eastern Promises, History of Violence, like those...
Those are still body horror movies, though. They're just not like it's like realism body horror.
Yeah.
Like,
yes, it's not The Fly or Videodrome, you know, but he's still like doing things that I'm interested in just because he's able to keep himself relevant with good movies that, even though it's not exactly what he was doing in the 80s, like it's still
I'm curious to
interesting
see
to
what the
watch.
fuck his son's gonna be doing too. Did you see his first one?
Oh yeah. What is it? Possessor?
Possessor, yeah. Like uncomfortably
Yeah.
brutal and nihilistic.
I like that one, yeah.
Yeah, I was
Brendan.
like, whoa, to see like a movie like that again, where that was why I was like saying to you, like I'm writing something right now that is like very angry and doesn't really have much of a like positive outlook by the end of it. And it was refreshing for me to see something like that when I saw Possessor, because I was already like kicking around this idea at the time. It was like, you don't see a lot of movies like that where it's still an interesting movie and it's not just like punk rock, like fucking the world sucks and everything's gay, like kill yourself. like it's actually a thought-provoking movie and interesting and shot beautifully.
Well, Antiviral is pretty good too. Have you seen Antiviral?
Yeah, that was his first one, right?
Yeah. And now he's doing a movie with
I remember that one being
Alexander
like really
Skarsgård.
really uncomfortable too. Like I haven't seen that in a while. Didn't that have like Jude Law or something in it? Or am I thinking of a different one?
Yeah, I think you're thinking of something different. This had Caleb Landry Jones, who's that weird looking white guy, and Malcolm McDowell was in it.
Oh yeah, no, wasn't he in Get Out or something, that weird kid? Was he the loud brother?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No,
you're
thinking of Hitch with Jude Law.
Yeah, Hitch. No, there's another one that came out around the same time, I think. Fuck, what was it called?
Was that Contagion?
That's probably it. Is that a Jude Law movie?
With Matt Damon and Lawrence Fishburne. That was 2011, yeah.
Yeah, was it that long ago? And I'm just mixing them together. I might be thinking of something else. I don't know. Too. It's pointless now.
It's the COVID before COVID.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Antiviral. I'm pretty sure I saw it. Brandon Cronenberg or Brendan Cronen? Brandon.
It's Brandon, yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a dude who sells pot.
The one thing I like about Carpenter though is that he's so good at like synth music that even the albums he's releasing now with his sons.
Yeah,
like
weren't like both his parents music teachers though? Like I know at least one of them was. I'm pretty sure it was his father was a music teacher, but I think they both were like music professors. That's why like when he talks about making the original Halloween theme, he's just like, yeah, it was just this really simple. It was a training exercise he used to do every day to just warm up. It's like a weird time signature. What is the new one his son's doing with Skarsgård? Infinity Pool?
Yeah.
Oh god, this sounds weird as shit. James and M. Foster are enjoying an all-inclusive beach vacation in a fictional island of Latolqua when a fatal accident exposes the resort's perverse subculture of hedonistic tourism, reckless violence, and surreal horrors. He writes his stuff too, though.
That's the thing. Like, once you see a couple of movies by a director that writes his own shit, and they're kind of weird, kind of like out there, like that, I'm interested. by, even though
Yeah,
that might
there's
not
not
sound
a
like
lot-
the most interesting thing in the world.
There's not a lot of that going on anymore, though, and that used to be like commonplace. Like now that everybody's like fighting for a spot, and that's why like all this diversity shit doesn't matter to me. Is like it doesn't really matter who's landing the job anymore when nobody really is focused on having a fucking unique voice or any sense of style of their own. And it's like it's all right to collaborate and make shit and everything, yeah, but it's like you guys should also have some sort of focused effort to make something fucking different that's going to stand out from the crowd and not just be this like homogenous gel of bullshit that we have going now. Yeah, Contagion is really weird now. I think that is the movie I was thinking of, but there's like a bunch of those movies that came out in like a 3-year period that are just like very similar. I think there's one called Side Effects too that had like Channing Tatum in it or something.
Isn't that the wine movie with Paul Giamatti? No, Sideways.
Oh yes, Sideways. It's like wine and fucking. You said you had. You said you had to go at midnight.
They drink wine,
though, right?
Yeah. I was about to say, I need to
Like
bounce.
it's midnight, so we're gonna call it, boys. This is a good time hanging out. I'll probably be back on tomorrow.
Fun.
But yeah, thank you for coming back on as always, dudes.
Of course,
we will see you later. I guess fucking stay excited for the Matrix or something. I don't really fucking know what to tell anybody anymore. Fucking movies are looking bleak. Look forward to Mass State Lottery. You want to plug anything?
H word name on Twitter. That's patreon.com/lowerswb. Go subscribe for $5 so I can get paid because I'm making no money. Yeah.
So we don't have to produce porno in Low Res's apartment.
We put out multiple just extra episodes of shit that we just don't release. So a lot of it is just very offensive things that should not be released to the public consumption. So
I'm over there. It's great.
We're also doing Civic TV back again very soon, where we just watch movies and talk shit over them. So that's coming out soon. That's it. I'm really bad at plugging things.
And then you got the movie to look forward to next year sometime, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna be going up there in about a month to finish shooting it, and then after that, it really depends on if we're able to sell it, and if not, we'll probably just throw it at some streaming service for people to enjoy. Hopefully.
Hell yeah, Mass State Lottery. Keep your eyes out for it, dudes. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you dudes later.